Greetings everybody and welcome to yet another episode of MOSHBITS. Now, the past couple of days we've been discussing quite a lot about the NVIDIA RTX 30 series cards, and guess what? Today is no different because according to the latest rumors coming from Videocardz, NVIDIA is planning to release yet another GPU in October aside from its already planned launch for the 3070, which is happening on the 15th of October around 3 p.m. Central East European time. And that's exactly when I plan to snag myself one of those, and I think I already have a message for the scalpers and the bots planning to get one before me. There you go. Now, this new GPU being added to the RTX 30 series lineup should be the 3060 Ti, and it should be bringing decent performance with its 4864 shaders compared to 5888 shaders that will be available on the 3070. This means that you'll probably be getting decent performance out of it, somewhere in the neighborhood of a 2080 or 2080 Super from last generation. And the good thing about it is that you're probably not going to be needing a new PSU, since the 3060 Ti is expected to have a power draw of about 180 watts for the Founders Edition card and about 200 watts for the AIB partner cards. Those are from the likes of EVGA, MSI, Asus, yada yada yada. Overall, this seems to be a decently spec'd card, like I previously said, but I'm still expecting to see what Big Navi has to bring to the table, and with regards to that, I've got a news topic that covers just that, Big Navi and some leaks. According to the latest rumors coming out of Team Red's camp, Big Navi is going to come in two variants, but unfortunately none of them is going to be able to rival the performance of the 3080. However, I'd say to take this with a grain of salt, since Big Navi 21B is allegedly going to be able to hit 2200 megahertz boost frequencies, according to some sources at least, and the latest leak from Videocardz has just showed a chart with the three upcoming GPUs, those being the 6700 XT, the 6800 XT, and the 6900 XT, and their individual specifications. Now, the RAM type that is being allegedly used is still GDDR6, which I personally doubt that AMD would be using on all of its cards. Although I guess this might still be a possibility, since the new consoles will all be using AMD GPUs and they're all using GDDR6 memory instead of GDDR6. I don't know, but it's important to note that the new GPUs will be made on TSMC's 7nm node compared to Samsung's 8nm node, on which NVIDIA's new RTX 30 series are based on, so certain advantages and IPC improvements might be available to Team Red, and you know what? Here's to hoping that Big Navi is actually going to be a success. And speaking of big things, you know what else is big? Get your mind out of the gutter first, because I'm talking about the largest or the biggest hard disk right now. In a time we're all dreaming about NVMe SSDs on the upcoming consoles or in our PCs, Seagate is preparing to launch its Exos 20 Plus hard drive right around Christmas season. Now, this probably isn't for you, since the main purpose of this drive is to be used in data centers, NAS configurations, and other workstation type products, so unless you're Linus and you're planning on building a new petabyte project, you might not be the intended customer for this thing. Now, nevertheless, the drive does come packed with some really nice features, including Hammer technology and Mac 2, which both sound mega cool, and in fact, you know what? They actually are, because Mac 2 will allow it to maintain high performance ratings as it scales to 50 terabytes of capacity. And speaking of 50 terabytes of capacity, you know what you'll be needing 50 terabytes for? Probably the new patch from Call of Duty Warzone, which is dropping out tomorrow, because the new season 6, is coming out. And with it, the trailer that we've seen on YouTube has already presented us with the two new operators, those being Farah, the leader of the Liberation Force, and Nikolai, the leader of the Chimera, and Captain Price's close friend. And now it's time for Nibbles, my QuickBits ripoff. If you thought that Techtember was almost over, then think again, because Razer has unveiled its new set of wireless peripherals with what they're calling hyperspeed technology, which according to them should be bringing the lowest wireless latency on the market at just 195 microseconds, which is roughly about 25% less than what other wireless technologies are currently doing on the market, and probably a bazillion times faster than I can start chewing the Razer chewing gum. Ever heard about that? Hope you did. Now, the new set includes the Black Shark V2 Pro headset, a new version of the legendary Death Adder V2 Pro, and its newly updated Black Widow V3 Pro keyboard. And of course, it all has RGB, because who doesn't want to have more RGB in their life? Now, you know who else is also going full rainbow grade BARF? Wait, you didn't know that's what RGB stands for? Well, now you know. And of course, I'm obviously joking about the last part, but EK Waterblocks just announced that its new cryofuel Mystic Fog coolant should make your loop look a lot like unicorns barfed rainbows into it. And that's oddly specific, I know. Now, this comes with the same bells and whistles that all premium coolants come with, so you won't have to worry much about corrosion or thermal issues. And that being said, EK also expects you to change the coolant every 6 months, but you know, if that sounds bad, then think again, because it's $20, and if you can afford to build a custom loop, then that shouldn't be a problem for you. And if you're building a totally baller PC, then I recommend you get yourself some extra fast memory, DDR4 that is, because XPG just announced its 5000 Spectrix D50 RAM, which also sports a catchy design with indented geometric lines and a RGB light bar at the top, which, might I add, should be going really well with your new coolants and also your new AMD or Intel processor. This past week, XPG has also announced its Gaia mini PC and its new PCIe Gen 4 M.2 SSD. And since we're on the topic of rainbow grade BARF, let's talk about Corsair and their latest release, which is a power supply with RGB. Yes, my friends, you heard it right. The base version of its bronze-rated CXF PSU offers 550 watts of power, with the highest model offering 750 watts of power, which might be coming in clutch if you're building a new power-hungry computer with those new power-hungry GPUs that NVIDIA just released, and presumably that AMD is going to be releasing sometime in October or November. And if you're also planning on buying all those things, it might be a bit tough with your budget, but worry not, because Amazon's got your back in October with its Amazon Prime Days. The company just announced that on October 13th and October 14th, they're going to be hosting their annual sale for Prime members. And a little nugget of information here, that's also when I uploaded my first video on this channel, which I'm presumably going to be linking somewhere over here. And yeah, maybe I'm going to be able to snag something else this time around, aside from the RTX 3070, which I really hope I can get my hands and eyes on to record a video for you guys. Yeah, weird segue time right now again. Apparently the parents in the UK are having their eyes set on the ads that EA has been doing for FIFA microtransactions. Now, as someone who wrote his thesis on microtransactions during university, I can say that this is not the first time that a company is doing this, but you know, EA kind of has a crappy reputation when it comes to microtransactions and other things in general. And as a parent, being against it is probably good, because children are really gullible, and showing them microtransactions for soccer players, different kinds of points, or pay-to-win experiences will make them crave more of those. And studies do show that if you get hooked on those from an early age, it might be really difficult to stop whenever you become older. And still, you know, FUT points are EA's biggest moneymaker at this point, and I don't expect them to change that. And concerned people are now calling for a boycott, obviously, which again shouldn't be any surprise for EA, because does anyone remember the boycott for Star Wars Battlefront 2? And speaking of Star Wars and space, let's cover a small leak coming from Bethesda about their upcoming space game called STARFIELD. Now, 2 new screenshots from the game are looking really bonkers and have gotten me really excited to try it out. And you know what else is even crazier? That the screenshots from this epic space game are from a build in 2018. Now, the studio is working on this game together with the guys from SPACEX, so I'll imagine they'll be getting a ton of information from them, since they are pretty much the top experts when it comes to rockets and space exploration at this point. Now, we don't have a release date for this upcoming game, but if I were Elon Musk, I would say that it's coming out in 2 years, which in Elon Musk time, this kind of means 5 to 10 years, I guess. Either way, speaking of SpaceX, the team is getting ever slightly so closer to creating a working prototype for its NASA Moon Lander program, with the company now working on its SN8 prototype, which should be the first Starship prototype to use 3 engines for testing. The Starship will fly at about 5,000 feet or about 15.24 kilometers, which is lower than initial estimates, but this doesn't seem to worry Musk, who says that that going to the moon won't be a problem, but with regards to Mars this year, well, that might take a little longer. I mean, come on, did you expect anything else from Musk? It might also take a little bit longer to get the new season of The Witcher on Netflix because, you guessed it, human malware. Now, this shouldn't come as a surprise to nobody, but today we also found out that the role of ESKEL will no longer be played by Ersted Rasmussen, but rather by the Swiss actor Basil Eidenbenz. And this has also been confirmed by the showrunner of the Witcher series, and she also confirmed that this new season will be focusing on a 6-episode prequel story set 1200 years before Geralt actually became a Witcher. Now, I just hope that they won't take just as much to record and deliver this show for us. And that being said, you know what else won't be taking 1200 years to finish? You guessed it again, this episode, because I'm done. And consider subscribing and also checking me out on Twitter, and also check out Crowd, because we happen to review quite a lot of products over there, including drones. And yeah, because we spoke about SpaceX and Elon Musk so much, I guess you could be reviewing drones, because those are kind of like rockets, aren't they? No, they're not. But nevertheless, please consider checking the topics and the news articles that I've covered in here. They're going to be in the video description down below. And I would say go and support the authors that have come out with them, because they're great. You're great too. And I guess this is sort of becoming my outro now. I don't know. I need to go. Bye!
Nice.
Wow, my voice sounds really bad. Not ltdstore.com.